Hello there, and welcome to your next math lesson, fifth graders. Today's lesson is order of operations. So please open up your math notebook to the next available page, and at the top, write that title, Order of Operations. So when we're talking about order of operations, we're talking about the steps we use to complete a mathematical expression. So remember that an expression is a combination of numbers and operations. So like something as simple as 3 plus 4 plus 2. That's an expression. How do we solve it? There's only one operation here. It's addition. So we just add from left to right. 3 plus 4 is 7. Then we add the 2 and we get 9. Okay, now that's a really simple one, so we don't really need the order of operations for that, but sometimes they get a lot more complicated, and then you need to know what to do first and what to do last. So you need to know the order of which operations you should do first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and so on. So there's 4 steps we're going to learn to the order of operations, and you can remember those 4 steps with the acronym, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Now, notice that I put these on top of each other, but then I put the M and the D next to each other and the A and the S next to each other. That's because the P is its own step, the E is its own step, the M and the D are their own steps, and the A and the S are their own steps, okay? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Another way of remembering this is just spelling it all out as a word, PEMDAS. So you can use please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or you can use PEMDAS. They both mean the same thing. Whichever one of those helps you most, use that. So what do each of these letters in please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, the P, E, M, D, A, and S, what do they all stand for? Well, the P stands for parentheses. Okay? Parentheses. What are parentheses? You already know from when we learned about the associative property that parentheses look like this. And within this step of parentheses, there's actually 3 steps because there are parentheses as well as brackets and braces. And so within this step of parentheses, there's actually 3 steps. We do whatever is inside regular parentheses first. Then we do what's inside brackets. They look like this. And then we do what's inside braces. They look like this. Okay? That step of parentheses is first, but it's actually 3 steps. Do whatever is in parentheses, then whatever is inside brackets, then whatever is inside braces. Okay, and the E stands for exponents. We already know what those are. We do all the exponents next. The M and the D stand for multiply and divide. And the reason those are in the same step is because you multiply and divide from left to right as one step. So if from left to right, the division is before the multiplication, you do that first. But if the multiplication comes before the division, moving from left to right, you do that first. And step 5 is add and subtract from left to right. And the reason I put those on one line is because they're also one step. And it's a 4-step process, but I have a 5 here. That's really weird. And it's because I wrote a 4 here instead of a 3. And I put a 5 here instead of a 4. Don't know why I did that, but it's not worth starting the video over. So we're just going to press on. Okay. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, parentheses, which includes parentheses, brackets, and braces, exponents, then multiply and divide from left to right, then add and subtract from left to right. Let's do an example together. Let's say we have 12 times 4 plus 10 times 8. Okay? So here's a situation where we need the order of operations because we can't just do this in order from left to right. If we do, we won't get it correct. we need to follow the order of operations. So first is parentheses, and there are no parentheses or brackets or braces, so we skip step 1. Then we go to exponents. Again, there are no exponents, so we go to step 3, which is multiply and divide from left to right. So we do 12 times 4, which is 48. And as we do each step, we write the rest of the problem that we haven't solved yet. We just bring that part down. So we solved 12 times 4 is 48, but we didn't solve the plus 10 times 8 yet, so we just bring it down. Okay, now we're still on step 3, multiply and divide from left to right, because there's still a multiplication problem here. 10 times 8 is 80, and we haven't solved the 48 plus part yet, so we just bring that part down. So 10 times 8 is 80. We haven't solved this yet, so we bring it down. Now our next step is add and subtract from left to right. So we add 48 plus 80. 48 plus 80 is 128. So that's our final answer. Okay? That's how we use the order of operations to solve an expression. Let's do another example together. Let's do a little bit of a harder one this time. Let's say we have 20 minus, let's use braces here, 4 plus, we'll use brackets, 4 plus, in parentheses, 10 divided by 2. This one's a little harder, and you might initially look at something like this and feel intimidated by it. Like, what is that? I don't know how to solve that. Well, you'll find that with any difficult task, if you just take it step by step, it quickly gets a lot easier. So if you just take it step by step, start with the parentheses, and within that first step of parentheses, you do what's in regular parentheses first, then what's in brackets, then what's in braces. So the first thing we see here that we need to do is the 10 divided by 2, because that's what's in regular parentheses. And we just solved that part of the problem. 10 divided by 2 is 5. The rest of the problem, we just bring down around it. See how I'm just bringing it all down? I just bring it all down around it. Okay? I did what's in regular parentheses. Now I do what's in brackets. And the part that's in brackets is 4 plus 5, which is 9. Okay, now I bring the rest of the problem that I haven't solved yet down around it. See how it's getting simpler and simpler as I solve each part? I'm still in this first step of parentheses because it includes regular parentheses, brackets, and braces, and I still have work to be done that's in braces. 4 plus 9 is 13. Okay, now I just keep bringing the problem down. I haven't solved the 20 minus part yet. And my next step is exponents. There are no exponents. My next step after that is multiply and divide from left to right. There's nothing to multiply or divide. So step 4 is add and subtract from left to right. And 20 minus 13 is 7. So that's my answer, 7. Whoops, I can't even see it. There we go. Now, I'm going to scroll down so you won't be able to see the order of operations on my page anymore. But if you're following along, you should have written all this in your own math notebook. So you can still see this. It's written in your math notebook. So you see it in your own handwriting on your own page. Let's do another one together. Let's do 28. Put it in braces here. Plus, we'll use brackets and parentheses. 2 times 4 squared, or 4 to the second power, divided by 8. Brackets, braces. Okay, now we'll do the order of operations. So step 1 in the order of operations is to do whatever's in parentheses, regular parentheses first, then brackets, then braces. So what do we see in regular parentheses? We see 2 times 4 squared, or 4 to the second power. Now, doing exponents, we also have to follow the order of operations within each step. So we have to do what's in the parentheses first. But before we multiply the 2 times the 4, we first need to find out what 4 to the second power is, because exponents come before multiplying and dividing. So we're going to do 4 to the second power, and 4 to the second power means 4 times 4. So we're going to just solve that one part. 4 times 4 is 16. And then we bring the rest of the problem down around what we just solved. We just bring it down exactly the way it is. You just have to be careful not to accidentally change anything as you're bringing it down. Okay, now I still have to finish solving what's in regular parentheses. So what's 2 times 16? 2 times 16 is 32. Now I bring the rest of the problem that I haven't solved yet down around what I just did solve. See how it looks really complicated at first, but it quickly gets simpler and simpler? Okay, now I still have brackets and braces to do, and in the order of operations, in the first step of parentheses, it's regular parentheses, then brackets, then braces. I still have brackets here. And inside the brackets, oh, look at that. I made a mistake. I didn't bring the 8 down. I was like, 32 divided by what? You gotta be really careful. See, I just made a mistake. You can make a mistake too if you're not careful. It's 32 divided by 8 within these brackets here. Now, what's 32 divided by 8? It's 4. So we've solved what's in these brackets, so we don't need them anymore. We bring the rest of the problem down that we haven't solved yet. Okay, now we're still in step 1, parentheses, regular parentheses, then brackets, then braces. We have in braces here 28 plus 4, and 28 plus 4 is 32. So that's our final answer on that one. Let's do some more together. Okay. And you might still have room on the same page, but I'm going to switch to a new page now because I've run out of room. So let's do 12 plus 4 squared minus 11. So we follow our order of operations here. I'm going to show my order of operations right here, but you should still be able to see them on your own page too. Let's see if I can move this thing. Oh, look, I can. That's good. So, and actually, I won't show it because it's not going to work to show it, because then I won't have room to solve the problem. So you're just going to have to look at your own paper to see your own order of operations. And if you haven't written them down yet, pause this video, rewind back to where I wrote these notes right here and copy them down. In fact, just pause it right now and write all these down. Hopefully you just did that if you didn't already write them down, because you need those written down on your own paper. Okay, how do we use the order of operations to solve this problem? Well, step 1, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. The P is parentheses, and we have some parentheses right here. So we have to solve 4 squared, or 4 to the second power, which means 4 used as a factor 2 times. So that's 4 times 4, that's 16. Now, that part solved, we write the rest of the problem we haven't done around it. Okay? So now we have 12 plus 16. What's 12 plus 6? Oh, actually, let's go back to our order of operations. We just did what's in parentheses. Now next is exponents. There are no exponents here. After that, multiply and divide from left to right. There's nothing to multiply or divide. Next is add and subtract from left to right. And we have addition and subtraction. We do it from this side to this side, from left to right. So 12 plus 16 is 28. Now we have minus 11. And 28 minus 11 is 17. So that's the final answer. Let's do one more example before I give you some independent practice. Okay? Let's do 55 minus, we'll use some brackets and regular parentheses, 5 squared times 3 in regular parentheses minus 5 squared in brackets. Okay, let's use our order of operations. First, we have to do what's in parentheses, and it's regular parentheses, then brackets, then braces. Within regular parentheses, we have 5 squared times 3, and we have to use the order of operations in the parentheses too. And exponents, doing exponents, comes before multiplying and dividing from left to right. Now, 5 squared means 5 times 5, so that's 25. And the rest of the problem that we haven't solved yet, we just write around what we did solve. We just bring it down. Okay, we're still on step 1 because we still have parentheses to do. 25 times 3, and you should be able to do that in your head if you think of quarters. What's 3 quarters? It's 75 cents, so 25 times 3 is 75, 25, 50, 75. So we bring that down, 75. We're done with what's in those parentheses. We still have the brackets to do. And we bring the part of the problem that we haven't solved yet down around the part that we did solve. Now we do what's in brackets, and within that, we also need to follow the order of operations. Doing exponents comes before subtracting. So 5 squared, we already know, is 25. We bring the rest of the problem down. Okay, now we subtract. What's 75 minus 25? It's 50. And now we bring the part of the problem that we haven't done yet around the part we have done. We finished with exponents. We finished with parentheses. The step after that is exponents. We don't have any exponents to do. Then it's multiply and divide from left to right, but we don't have any multiplication to do. And the step after that is add and subtract from left to right. We do have subtraction to do. 55 minus 50 is 5. And that's the final answer. Okay, so that's how you use the order of operations to solve expressions. Now I'm going to give you 2 independent practice problems to do. What I'd like you to do is do 58 minus 6 times 7. Go ahead and solve that independently. So that's a pretty easy one. So now I'm going to give you a harder one. Do 2 squared plus, we'll use braces and brackets, 1 times, in parentheses, 5 minus 2 times 3. Okay, so that's a harder one. Here's an easy one to do independently. Here's a harder one to do independently. And actually, why don't I give you one more to do independently? Make sure you have these written down correctly. And now I want you also to do this one. Do 2 times, that's in parentheses, 4 minus, oh wait, this is supposed to be braces. That's in braces. 4 minus, in regular parentheses, 6 divided by 2 times 3. Okay, here are your 3 independent practice problems. Let me get my head out of the way. Here are your 3 independent practice problems. Write all these down and then pause the video. Actually, just stop the video because you'll find out if you did them right in the next video attached under this one. So write all these down and solve them independently. and then click on the video under this one to see if you did them correctly. And I will see you there. Okay.